talk about group travel. Guys, sorry, give me a few minutes. I just want to make sure that this phone is 100% clean. Sorry about that. Okay, much better. I was just wiping my screen, which is very important as a content creator. And thanks for being here. If you love or you can resonate with this information that I share on this channel, please do subscribe. And those who've already subscribed, thank you so much. My name is Tisha Oliphant, and I thought because I'm live during the week, weekends are for wealth building, weekends are for wealth creation. During the week, I like to keep it easy and fun, if I may put it that way. So, as you can see, the topic of today is, why do you think a group travel becomes a nightmare? And I hope I'll have a lot of people who will contribute. I've just put down few pointers as to why do I personally think a group travel can turn into something else. And as you come in, please do don't forget to please, guys, so that this video can reach as many people as possible. I would like to get straight to the point. I think as you know that I traveled last year for over 6 months, close to 7 months, and it was a woman solo travel. So I traveled alone, and there are times where I travel alone, and I love it. But there's people, as much as they travel alone, they prefer to travel as a group. And this content is for those people who are busy planning, friends get together, group travel, or there's someone who's coordinating their trip. And I want us to just look at what really leads to issues, to problems, to hurdles, to challenges when people travel as a group. I guess it is much easier to travel as a group than to travel alone, or in terms of budget, it can be much lesser. There are different reasons why people prefer to join a group than traveling alone. Whatever your reason is, and whatever their reasons are known to you, I thought I'll just sit today and say, let's chat. You are welcome to drop on the comment section, even if you've never traveled as a group, and you might know what causes the issues, or what you think leads to a nightmare when people travel as a group. I would like to hear you on the comment section. First things first, I think if you're going to travel as a group, guys, you ought to have some sort of agreement, from the start. Once that WhatsApp group is created and people are joining, immediately you have to set the rules, like with everything else, or else people will not know which boundaries they shouldn't cross, what the expectations are, what the limitations are. And what people who travel as a group tend, or maybe they fail to do, is to put those clear objectives from the onset. So the budget, because budget is such a sensitive issue, sorry guys, people don't talk about it before you even move to the next point. Budget is everything. And as you travel as a group, we are all different, guys. I've always said different levels. We all have different amounts that we earn, different salaries. Our scales are not the same. If it's profits, if it's revenue, if it's interests, we are not the same. So it's important when you are traveling as a group to be clear about a budget. Who can afford what? And even you as a traveler, it's not only the coordinator's work to be leading everything, and then the other friends, or yes, let's just say it's friends that are traveling, are just following along and they are not being transparent. We ought to say, if people are saying, let's travel to Switzerland, guys, we all know Switzerland is one of the expensive countries. We know that you need a visa, a Schengen visa, to go to Switzerland, and that's another cost. You know for sure that you currently do not have a passport. Maybe you are facing other challenges. Be honest. and say, in terms of budget, I won't be able to afford Switzerland. Can we at least have three countries, from a not so expensive country to a middle ground country and to expensive country, and let's all vote. And guys, if everyone votes for Switzerland, then be honest with yourself and be transparent to the group members who would say, I don't have a budget, and let it pass you by. No matter how much you love traveling, it's okay. You will travel next time. Because what happens with these group travels, friends or girls' trips, is that some people are not honest. Some people are not transparent when it comes to e-budget. I think the budget is one of the biggest issue that later comes out ukuthi, why did you come with us if you wouldn't have money for coffee when we get to a particular destination? Good day, Babi. How are you doing today? I'm great, Bali. How are you, sweetheart? I hope you are good as well. And you don't want to travel with people and piggyback on other people. You can't do that. They are not your family. They're not your parents. I think someone that you can say, oh, I left my wallet at home. They'll be nar, but they'll still bail you out, are your parents. So you can't expect friends when we are traveling as a group. We get to a destination when again we must now be we need to make sure Gucci, you have a drink, we're going for dinner dates, fancy dinner dates as girls night out. Now because you didn't talk about a budget, how tight your budget is, now we must stretch our budget for you, and that leads to these group travel nightmares when other people hold back and they're not transparent. They don't tell it as is. Which I would love to join this group, but financially, can we rather go to Thailand where the rent goes a long way than choosing to go to a country where it's going to be expensive, to France, for instance, or Monaco, because your budget doesn't allow you to do that. So, guys, I've got some few pointers so that I try and cover as much as I can in terms of these nightmares when it comes to group travel. Another thing, guys, remember, we can be travel buddies, we can be girls that are traveling together, but we've got different preferences, we've got different choices, and I think that needs to be laid out on the table before we even leave OR Tambo. Ukuthi, in most cases, yes, let's talk about your girls, and leave out the strangers that you join and you travel with them. Let's focus on you traveling as friends. You know who your friends are. You know their personal preferences. You know their lifestyle. So if I prefer luxury, how do you then expect me to get to another country and compromise? Chances are my budget allows me to book in a five-star hotel. So when you set up a travel group as friends, as girls, a trip, you ought to be clear. Good, hi friend, we know you balling. We know you've made it in life, but can we all book in the same hotel and see how the friends feels about that? Because then others will be going to hostels while others will be going to our five-star hotels, and that can cause, guys, a misunderstanding and fraction and friction between friends, and you find Gucci, it causes endless problems. And in most cases, when you're going abroad, you're not going for 2 nights. It's most probably 10 days. Imagine, those differences, and you must face these people for 10 days. So when it comes to choices, be honest. And even you need to be able to compromise. You can't travel as a group. Hi, Bonsile. Hi, Bali, sweetheart. I'm good. Thank you, ma. Thanks, Sissy. You can't travel as a group and never and refuse to compromise, because as we all know, guys, we travel for different reasons. Others prefer to stay day in, day out in hotel rooms. They don't want to go out and explore. Others travel to go and eat, deck, and get to understand the country's culture, get involved with the locals and learn the languages. We all travel differently. So before you even buy that flight tickets and run around with visas, you need to discuss. I mean, I think the communication is key when you're going to have a group travel, whether as friends, more especially. You would say, yes, we know Bali prefers to be in a hotel room day in, day out. But Bali, can you at least come with us when you go for meals? Bali, can you at least join us for one activity? And you can't expect someone to change overnight just because we're traveling as a group. And Mina, what I'll tell you, you can have your ride or die friend. You can have your best of the best. You can have your till death do us apart friend. But when it comes to traveling, that person might not be compatible. It takes so much to find a true travel buddy, guys. It is such a scarce resource. I don't even want to talk about that. You can be best friends in SA if you reside in South Africa. But the minute you cross borders or the minute you travel with someone, you realize, Guti, how much taxing that is. It takes a lot. And that's where you get to know a true person, who this person is. Because remember, when we are in South Africa, for instance, or you are in Botswana with your friends, you go out for dinner, then goodbye, hug, kisses, gifts. You get into your car, you drive to your house. Now you'll be sharing rooms with this person. Then the habits as well comes in. We spoke about preferences. Be willing now again to compromise and join other kids when they go for a netball match or tournament. And let them also join you when you want to go for shopping, because some people travel to shop and we all are different. But it can't just be you wanting things your way. Then that group will come back as will live as friends and come back as enemies. That's for sure, And also, when it comes to habits, that's where you realize which we are not the same, because if it's shared rooms, boy or boy, that's where you pick up Gucci. Other people prefer to chat until early, wee hours of the morning, and you find good whether you are a person who goes to bed very early, and when it's time for bed, you start by slowing down everything. You start by switching off social media, doing your meditations, praying, reading a book, all those rituals. But here you are now sharing with the girl, your girl, and she wants to chat and chat and chat, and now you want your me time and you're not getting it. That can also cause problems as friends. So you need to talk about that, Uguti. What do you prefer? Who are the late sleepers? Who are the early risers? And group people according to their habits, rather, because they will really get along. They might not be the same, but they'll be able to understand where the other person is coming from. But guys, a lot can go wrong. And if you are someone who's never shared a room, you always prefer your space, talk about it and say, I'll rather pay extra and have my own private room. Other people prefer their spaces. We are adults, we can't turn into being teenagers now sharing rooms, but especially if you're traveling in your 40s, even 30s, you already, maybe 20s, they're still willing to compromise, but not all of them, because their setup at home, the way they've been raised could be completely different, but they still want to go and have fun with friends. So it is very, very important that you iron out all these things before you even agree on traveling together. So be very, very conscious. Hi, Des. Hi, Sweetie Pie. And yeah, different habits. Someone else gets into the hotel room and they open their suitcases and you'll think a tornado was in there. It's bomb after bomb. You should be able to deal with such, and It is said when you don't know, Gucci, this person is so untidy, and whether you are a neat freak or the OCD, now you need to deal with that. That also causes so many issues. I'm thinking I wasn't aware that, yeah, there'll be this noise. I wouldn't have gone live. And guys, we spoke about being transparent, be transparent, more especially when it comes to budgets. Be transparent, don't tag along, and you know very well. And guys, also don't forget to also mention what you think causes issues when people travel as groups. Be transparent, guys. Can we rather go where it's much cheaper? At the moment, I'm building my parents home. I cannot afford an expensive trip. Don't keep quiet, and we plan and we plan, and the next thing, you don't even have money for transportation from the airport to the hotel. Already says we barely landed, we just arrived, so you need to be honest. Utu African Grace, this is so true. Find a travel buddy. I learned the hard way, Sissy, and finding one can take you years. Take you years. That's why people end up traveling alone, because you're the one wants to go to a museum. You're not a museum person. You want to go shopping. The other one wants to go for sports. The other one wants to be poozering the whole time, the whole trip. All they want to do is wear their bikini and sit near the pool and just have their cocktails. So you need to agree. And you traveling with your friends, you know them. Why do you want to change them? Because manje, you nilaphe Poland. People are people. Those friends are your friends, and they are exactly like that. The one whom you know uswima kuyinkambo zikafaro. There'll be inkambo zikafaro phuzari one way. They're not gonna change, but have those discussions and agree. Good, see, how are you still gonna have a good time, a great time abroad, while people do different things? And I understand now, Gucci. I'm traveling with adults. I'm an adult myself. People need their me time. Don't sesiyacrowdana. We must tag along with you in everything that we want to go and do. No, guys, you need to also, when you sit and put the itinerary together, agree. Good, see, there's free time on Tuesdays or day 5. We all do our own thing. So make sure you also get to have me time during the travel, because we cannot be dragged to all these different directions to make sure that everyone is covered, but we don't find time to just breathe and recollect, and just have a space for ourselves. And guys, don't forget, excuse me, ukuba to research before you go. Understand ukuthi we get there, you already downloaded your apps, your travel documents are on one side, and the required documents are ready, because now we're gonna get to immigration. Now we wondering, where are you, where's so and so. You don't even disclose ukuthi some of your documents are not. We might all be coming from South Africa as friends. Kanti wena, maybe you've got a work visa. You are a B8E, if they still call them B8Es. That was one of the exchange control way of calling someone who came to South Africa on a work permit. Today we think we are all South Africans. We are now shocked. They want you extra documents. You didn't share. Uthi-ke, your work permit had expired. You're waiting for renewal. It becomes a nightmare. Now some of so and so's clothes are with you because you were coming from the same hotel when we were leaving the country. It becomes a nightmare if you are denied entry to a country, or you are not allowed to leave South Africa because your document says you can only be in South Africa and nowhere else. So do your research and be honest from the onset, because later your colder back causes so much problems. And once you've researched, you find out what kind of transportation is used in that country, how to check the exchange rates, Google Translate, and have them ready in your phone. There's people who just become a burden to friends. You bringing absolutely nothing to the table. You know, people say, "Why? What are you bringing to the table?" And I think duties should be assigned as well. You, Mbali, you're responsible for this. Yes, you're responsible to research this for us. African Grey, please check this. And we meet every once a week, depending on our availability, or every second week, depending on when the trip is. But towards when the time gets closer for us to depart, we then start meeting much quite often. Maybe as a start, once a month while we are putting the money together, or we're doing it, the travel stock fair. But once we agree and we have proper meetings and ask relevant questions, then we know what is what. Then you come prepared. You can't expect us. We book transport for you. You're going to your own activity. Friend, can you help me get a taxi? Now I'm stuck. I cannot book my own taxi because I must first sort you out to go to your own place. Then before I sort. So don't be a burden, guys. You know, some people become over reliant on others, and that becomes fair, and it can really drain your friends very quick. And I don't know, for a lack of a better word, adaptable, you know, flexible, because things change, guys. Travelers will tell you. That's why in most cases I don't plan to the T, because life happens every single minute, every hour. Maybe I'm exaggerating when you travel. But if you're not a flexible person, you're going to ruin the whole trip, not for yourself only, but for everybody, because now you are sulking. And remember, it's a group travel. It's not just about you. So when there's changes, you guys planned to take a train from maybe Finland to Sweden, and you realize Guti, the train is cancelled because of weather conditions. Now you need to take a ferry. Be flexible to say, you know what, friends, and that's why you ought to have a buffer. Your budget cannot just be strictly $500 pocket money. You ought to have buffer for those unexpected things that can happen when you travel, you know. And then you are able to say, oh my gosh, the train was going to be a bit less. What can we do? Let's go on a ferry. And yes, I need to pay an extra $30. I've got my buffer, and you pay it. Because some people go with bare minimum. Traveling is expensive, guys. Even if you try and do it on a that budget will never amount to 2,000 rands. That on a budget will never be 10,000 rands. You need to have proper numbers and have a buffer ready for such, and be ready for when the weather changes, when one of the friends becomes ill, when one friend loses her luggage. You know what, ube the compassion. It doesn't mean because you are fine, you are sorted, now you like, I couldn't be bothered, I'm going to my room and sleep. Show some love. You are traveling, it's a girl's trip, it's your friends. Why are you now trying to show off? And do bring, you know, you on chronic medication, if you are, bring your meds. We can't, even the ones that you preempt, you'll need them. You know, every now and then you get some allergy reaction. I don't leave my allergy medication, my sinus although I'm not heavy on medication, I'm not big on medication, but I'll take some of the things when it gets really tough. And I might be able to handle my sinuses in SA because I don't use anything. But then I can get to a foreign country and it becomes even worse. So if I leave the medication that could relieve me from any type of illness, I'm using sinuses as an example, who must now be running to the pharmacy, and you find good, you don't have a budget, you don't have the doctor's scripts, or they don't accept it in a foreign country, they want you to go to their own doctors. Be well prepared, you know, be an independent woman. because it's women who loves these girls trips. And yeah, it's women's month, let's travel as women, we need it, we've been through a lot, which is awesome. But just make sure, guys, you talk about it now. When you come to the party, we cannot be forcing people to travel with us and end up babysitting them everything they it's, of course, we'll be changing notes. You find which you're traveling for the first time, and as friends, we need to understand that. But now, okay, bring something. You can't be relying on us to really carry you throughout. You're gonna really train us. And I spoke about breathing space. Even if we do activities together, or you've got those three friends, let's say you are six friends, where you share the same interests, and you tend to group yourselves. And that's another thing. You know, those cliques, so and so is much closer with Ness. So African Grey is spending more time with Unes instead of us as a whole group, just bonding as a group. But it does happen, Guti, we share the same interest, no Bonsile. So if we share the same interests, remember, we still need to give each other a breathing space. I mean, my group or my girls' trips are with my children. I go on a trip with Unonzi. I've gone on so many trips with her. I've gone on so many trips with Unongo. And I'm cognizant of the fact that even if we go and do things together, we still need that time out, where downtime, where I just switch off and do my own thing. And she also needs to switch off and do her own thing in her space, in her room. If we've booked separate rooms, we agree on the time. Can we give each other 2 hours before, excuse me, we refresh and get ready for dinner? It counts. Honestly, I cannot believe Gucci people travel together and want to be on each other's face for the next week and 10 days. And that could cause problems, because, yeah, let's give each other breathing space. And let's just see before I touch on something else. And another problem when we travel as friends, which you'll find, there are so many challenges, and people are different, I guess. That's why we end up like this. Is that we agree ukuthi it's a girls' trip. We agree, good, it's Women's Month. As women, we're going away to pump ourselves, to just remind one another why we are so powerful, how blessed we are to be women. I get one of the friends decides to bring a partner. Senzeni your loved one, because this is a girls' trip. And guys, there's a place and time for everything. There will be couples retreats where the single people will remain behind if they don't want to be part of a couple that will be coupling. So now we are, four girls. The fifth friend decides to bring a partner or husband. It becomes so awkward, and I can just imagine the poor guy. Okay, he feels like a thorn amongst the roses. But now we become so dependent on him. Can you carry my bag? So it's no longer the wife that he's assisting. All the friends now have my expectations. And then that also leads, guys, we can be friends, ne? But we know some people just misbehave. Then you start saying, so and so, when we were at having lunch, you saw her looking at your man with a certain eye. Bomi sapi. Why were you bringing your man to a girls' trip? Because this was just specifically for us as ladies. So this thing, also, we plan about group trips, and there's people who are inseparable with their partners. If whether you can't be separated with your man, stay with your man. You'll go to trips that allows partners to come together, guys. They are tandugus crowd. And when we say that, you turn around and say, "Hi, just because you guys are not loved, Aye, guys, we are all loved, but we know the mandate and we shall stick to a mandate. Ukuthi this is not about our partners, it's not about us showing each other. Since you are double data with the one friend, let's say it's three friends traveling, the two decides without communicating, without being transparent, not even upfront. When the tickets are bought, the visas are ready, they send you a message go WhatsApp. Hey friend, I was chatting to Sihle. We've decided that we're bringing our husband. So in other words, they knew all along. They bought tickets for their husbands, whether you were the only one who wasn't informed. And there you are, no husband, you the single lady in the group. So now you must come alone and come and light and hold a candle for these two couples. It really leaves, it shows the level of immaturity of those friends. And that's why traveling as a group can really, that could be one of the reasons, can tend to a nightmare. And guys, when we've booked a trip, we're going to France, we now sitting in Paris. Don't bring up South African issues. If we had a braai in Feb and we contributed and I was supposed to buy meat for 2,000 rands, and when you looked at the vors didn't amount to 2,000 rands, why you wanna confront me? Paris. Why bring about problems wasesata to Paris? Let's not do that. This is a girls' trip. We're going to have fun. We're going to really unwind and switch off and rejuvenate and chill, and sing a carrying a thing on this world just for that period, as though we don't have problems. We're going to have the greatest of times. Why manje usufuna ukuthi, hey, by the way, angikufili wena nesi? If you didn't confront the situation when it happened as friends and dealt with it and sat down and discussed it and came to agreement and apologized where apologies were needed, please let's not book flights and go on these trips to go and have our differences. And with all that is said, I don't think I've covered everything. There are so many reasons that causes group trips to become nightmares. But I want to close off by saying you ought to have emotional intelligence when you travel with people. Lack of emotional intelligence can lead to so many issues. When someone I get intelligent when it comes to other people, taking into consideration other people's feelings, when someone has had other challenges which were unplanned, which were unknown to them, they thought they had this thing together, and the next thing, life happened, and you fail as a friend to say, friend, it's gonna be fine. Can I assist with this? What can I do to better the situation? I'm not talking about someone who constantly relies on others and now they become these babies. I'm talking about an adult who's now facing issues. When again you want to cause unnecessary issues, spoil the whole trip for everyone because you don't understand. How can you forget your bag in the bus? Where were you looking at, guys? Things happen even when we are not in other countries. Here, we human beings, we get, there's so much that we are juggling at the same time. You can easily just get off. Sometimes you buy something and you look the other way, and they start calling you like, why? What's going on? Hey, your change, your change. So such things happen, and just have that, a way of handling our emotions, your own emotions, and understanding where other people are coming from, accommodating other people. Emotions as well. When someone says they're not well, and they're not moody, the person is not a moody person, is not someone who always a person who's sulking. understand ukuthi something could have just happened. No, it's that time of the month. They were also not expecting it. And the fact that it happened while traveling, they couldn't control it. And just bear in mind, ukuthi they'll be fine. They'll come around. I get there's people whom you know, ukuthi they are sour grapes. Why did you even allow them to join the group? Why did you even suggest to travel as girls? Because you know, ukuthi you still have big differences. Guys, we cannot be the same. We understand that. Opposite attracts. You have friends who are completely different from you, but I can tell you now, you cannot be 100 miles apart, because when you travel, it will be 1,000 miles apart, and that could bring endless issues. We know people who left as a group and they booked and paid a fortune. Imagine you worked for years or for months or tirelessly long hours to put aside this travel funds or kitty, and then the next kit, and the next day you can't. Next thing, you travel and you face endless challenges with the group, my girls, and there's gossip, because yeah, people say women love gossip, men gossip as well. Maybe we don't handle ours much in a more dignified manner like men, and then all just crumbles, the cookie crumbles like that. And you just sit there and say, I could have just deposited a car, I could have paid off my bond, I could have closed that credit card. I've spent so much money just to deal with differences after differences. Every day it's something, every day it's something. And there are instances where people leave, let's say it's 5 ladies, 6 ladies, and you find Gucci only 2 people remain with destination. The other four left with different flights and decided this is it. So there's a lot to consider, guys, and do know your friends. And if your friends loves luxury and they happen to travel business class when uhlezi economy, you can't be nar the whole trip. Say, ha, there you were, gay. And please, if you are that friend that affords, can you just hands up your friends before we leave? Gucci, guys, mina, as you know me, I'll be traveling on first class. Hayi soyasichomela ke nama-slow lounge. Where are you going for while we waiting to board? Oh, Mag and Bean. Okay, guys, I'm going to a slow lounge. You know, I'm a Bidvest card holder. How sesiqoshelwa uwe? So nje, guys, those things needs to be ironed out. And I wanna, hi mom, thank you, love you so much. Hi Cindy, so love you too, sweetie pie. And as I close, because I don't want this video to be long, 40, I need to switch it off. Guys, I can go on and on. I'm just thinking, we once traveled as ladies to Turkey years ago. Awesome ladies with differences as well, but with so much respect and intelligence, you know. We considered everyone's feelings. And I want to say, when we got to the airports, OR Tam, which was a night flight, the 2 ladies were bumped up to business class. And the 3 of us went to economy. And the way they were showing off, oh, guys, we got upgraded. We were like, can you keep calm down now? And we got to eat this. Okay, they bumped them up. I think it was from here to Dubai or Dubai to Istanbul. I can't recall which, but it was like a 8 hour. It was quite awesome. Like they slept, and they wanted to know. They were showing us pictures of what they ate, and we didn't hear the end of it. But because we were matured and yeah, professionals, career women, we still understood. And what I want to say, Gucci, when you are fortunate enough and you know, Gucci, some of your friends are teka. I mean, I'm not saying you should shy away from thanking God by being grateful for what you have. But again, don't rub it off the whole trip. You like, oh, let me go try the Michelin restaurant while you guys who struggle a bit will be having street food. You don't need to do that to your friends because that can also cause issues issue. We know you've got this thing. You are wealthy, and our wealth can never be the same. But you can stop showing off non-stop and a little bit of reminding us Gucci you've made it and preparing us. Gucci guys Mina, I cannot go to this country and not sleep in such and such a hotel while you guys will be sardines. Joking, guys, in another hotel. But we can't get there, and now how? We see you being fetched by a helicopter. Eh? And now you're asking, does that place have a helicopter pad? Yeah, guys. And then I can't say, hey, choose your friends wisely. What are you saying? You want to stick with people who are still hustling, who don't have much? Go learn from people who've made it. It's amazing. And unfortunately, guys, to be honest, the haves likes to keep with the haves, and the have-nots, that's what they used to call it, will group themselves. And others, because they feel intimidated. I mean, if I meet someone who's much more wealthier than me, I will make sure I spend time with them and find out how they do it. And I can even be best friends with that person. And we'll be clear again. Whether you go to those shops, you wear branded, it has never been my thing. And maybe due to affordability, and maybe not due to personal preferences. But that doesn't mean, hey, stick with the ones that are on your level and never go. So whether you'll die, Jane, knowing your level only. So if you've got two friends who happen to ukuthi bapope, get awesome positions, they get promoted, they've been studying, they now CEOs, you're gonna send a letter of resignation from this friendship because now they are promoted, now they are much more wealthier than you, and you can't see yourself dining with someone who earns seven figures and all that. I don't think that will work. But if you are true friends, you'll have a way of managing such differences. And that friend should be matured enough to discuss is it a Lezo and see how we can. But you can't, because they're rich or wealthy, expect Uguti they'll pay and carry you. And guys, we hustle while we're still in our country of origins, or while you're abroad, if you're currently working abroad or studying abroad. We can't be hustling when we are on holiday. Usitshela ukuthi, hey, ngisayozama la ngaphandle. No, if your financials don't agree, wait for the next trip. There'll be another girl's trip next year. There'll be another girl's trip 5 years from now. Maybe you'll be having different friends, different lifestyle, and you'll be able to travel. But it is a lot. And good luck to those who are planning to put together a group trip. All the best. And go as matured as possible with emotional intelligence and just have fun. Uthini Mathini, so please, ma'am, I would communicate in the inbox after this live. I wanna send you something. I don't know how. Okay, Sissy, thank you so much. No problem, sweetie. Do communicate. I love you guys, and may you keep well. I'll meet you on Saturday. Yes, Sunday. I'm going to one of these organized women concerts. So I'll have to come on live on Saturday, and I'll do Easy Equities. So someone requested for Easy Equities. I hope you'll be here because that's going to be your live on Saturday. Keep well, guys, and enjoy the travels. Stay cool.